الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيدا والصلاة والسلام على خير الأنام وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. Praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Praise it's worthy of a beneficent bestower of bounties and mercies. And we ask our Lord Most High to send copious and eternal and unlimited blessings and salutations upon our beloved Prophet Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. من وين التعلم والتعليم والتذكر والتذكير والنفع والانتفاع والإفادة والاستفادة والدعاء إلى الهدى والضلالة على الخير والحق والتمسك بكتاب الله وسنة رسول الله ابتغاء مرضات الله وقربه وثوابه سبحانه وتعالى. So Allah Azza wa Jal accept the fasting of those who fasted, and those who didn't, you still have a chance for tomorrow, inshallah. Some people said today's Ashura, the 10th day of Muharram. Others said tomorrow. So if you didn't fast today, at least inshallah Azza wa Jal, if you're feeling well enough, that you can fast tomorrow, inshallah Azza wa Jal. And if you've got any food, make sure you cover it up, because we know just what Imam Haddad advised us about food. So if you've got any left over, put something over it. If you haven't, just put a pen over it or something, say A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajeem, as Imam Haddad told us, so that the negativity doesn't come down on, the sin, and the sickness doesn't come down in our food, and subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one of the things, it's appropriate to mention something about this blessed day, because this is the month of Allah. This is the month of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is one of the sacred months as well. And in that sacred month is the 10th day, today, tomorrow, depending on whether you use calculation or moon sighting. It's not only the day of the Prophet ﷺ, there's plenty of riwayat of Sallu ala Rasulillah. There's plenty of narrations that the people of Mecca, they used to fast Ashura. They made some sins, they did some big thing, and they wanted expiation, so they spoke to their sages and they said you should fast this 10th day of Muharram. And it's also the most, that's not as well known, but what's really well known is that when the Prophet ﷺ, so every time I say sallallahu alayhi wasallam, you have to repeat at least loud enough for yourself to hear it, otherwise the Prophet will call you stingy. It's his words, the stingiest person is the one who, when my name is said, they don't recite salawat on me, alayhi salatu wasalam. So when he went to Medina, alayhi salatu wasalam, he saw the Jews, they were fasting the 10th day of Muharram, Ashura, and then he asked what's going on. He asked the Jews, and they said that the reason that we fast this day is because this is the day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emancipated Sayyidina Musa alayhi salatu wasalam from, and the people of Musa from Pharaoh, from Fir'aun in Egypt. So they were emancipated, they were set free. And they also said that this is the day that the ark of Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam, that it found its place. That in other words, the waters receded and it was settled, in other words. And there's other narrations that say that Yunus, remember who knows who Sayyidina Yunus is? What happened to him? Okay, he went into the stomach of the whale, and then Allah Azza wa Jal, on the 3rd day or 40th day or 10th day, depending on the narration, the day that he came out was also Ashura, this day. Okay, so there's a lot, and also Sayyidina Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, what did he do wrong? Right, him and his wife, don't forget his wife, they ate the apple, right? They ate from the fruit. They say it's apple, but it's from the fruit. Allah said, don't eat from that fruit. And then that's the day Allah forgave him. It was the 10th day of Muharram, which is known as Ashura, the 10th day. Okay, so it's not just an isolated incident. And we know that's the case for like Laylatul Qadr. What happened on Laylatul Qadr? Alright, Allah revealed the Qur'an and the Injil and the Tawrat and all of the books. So this is one thing that we really have to pay attention to. It's not just the event, like, we're us, we don't really pay attention to those things very often. We just like, it's Christmas, who cares? As an example, it doesn't matter if Jesus wasn't born on Christmas or died or whatever it was, they just pick a random date and they go for it. Same as Easter. That'll do. Okay? So we're not used to being stuck on, even the Queen's birthday every year changes, from, how can a birthday change? Anyway, that's what happens. So we're not so used to having stuck on dates. But it's important because Allah Azza wa Jal, His mercy comes at specific times and specific places and specific occasions and during specific events. So during specific events, if a person is fasting, they make dua to Allah, what happens to that dua? Alright, it's guaranteed to be accepted. What about if a person is traveling and they make dua? It's accepted. What about a person goes to the haram, to the house of Allah Azza wa Jal? Their dua is accepted. Alright, so places, events, actions, and also times. Laylatul Qadr, you make dua on Laylatul Qadr. Hey, tahajjud as well. You make time at the night prayer before the time of Fajr. Accepted. Okay, and if you pray 2 rak'at after the sunnah of Isha, 2 rak'at of salat, after the sunnah of Isha is like praying 2 rak'at on Laylatul Qadr. So you can get that every night if you really want it. Just 2. After the sunnah of Isha, it's like you're praying on Laylatul Qadr. So it's a pretty good deal. So one of those days is Ashura. As we said, Laylatul Qadr, 27th or whatever as it may be of Ramadan. Allah Azza wa Jal, the divine books Allah Azza wa Jal sent them, divine revelations, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent them so people could benefit and know Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Ashura is the same. Allah Azza wa Jal accepted the repentance of those people, those peoples, and Sayyidina Adam in that sense. So because Allah Azza wa Jal accepted the repentance of those people, the Prophet said, He may also accept your repentance. And that's the best state to face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or to meet Allah Azza wa Jal, a state whereby a person has no sins. Isn't that the case? If you have no sins and you face Allah, is He going to punish you? What do you reckon? No sins. And you've lost no points on your license. You got no sins. What's He going to punish you over if you've got no sins? Can't be punished. There's nothing to be punished over. So of course it's the best state. And we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to accept the tawbah of all the people that have made tawbah. So, like I said, the prophetic tradition says that the best of things to do on this time is qiyamul layl, also again to stay up. In other words, that's sleep early after Isha, inshallah. Wake up before Fajr, even if it's only a few minutes, and then to make tawbah and to repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sincerely from all the sins that a person's done. And that means if you took someone's money and you want to repent, you got to pay that money back. If you stole something from someone, you've got to give that thing back with the value of it. If you talk bad about someone, you got to seek their forgiveness, and if that's going to cause issues between you, then at least you should do some good deeds and ask Allah Azza wa Jal to accept the good deeds on behalf of that person. So read some Qur'an and say, Allah, on behalf of this person who I spoke bad about, give these sins, give these good deeds to that person to make up for my sins. Because what happens on the Day of Judgment, the people you talked about, they'll either take your good deeds because you talked about them, and if you have no good deeds, they'll give you your sins. So it's an exchange of deeds in this life rather than the next life, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's important. That's important. And if you're doing other things that are haram, lying, stealing, sexual things that are impermissible, you got to stop doing it. You got to make intention never to do it again. Smoking, taking drugs, talking to guys, talking to girls, as the case might be. Then you got to make intention to stop doing that thing. All right, and do your best not to go back to it. So that's the tawbah that has to be done, and this is the best time, one of the best times of the year to do it. Even the Prophet of Allah was asked, "What's the best month to fast after Ramadan?" And he said, "Muharram, this month." So it's worth doing, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So last week also the Imam we only read one specific section of what he said, but what did we talk about last week? Can anyone remember? Zakat. What specifically did we say?
We spoke about
on the Day of Judgment we'll be asked how we spent our money and where we got our money from.
Alright, so every question is, how did you spend your time? What did you do with your body? How did you use up the energy in your body? With the knowledge you have, what did you do with it? Except for money. It's two questions. Where did you get it from? And how did you spend it? So it's a big deal. Yep, what else did we say?
Zakat is one of the 5 principles.
Alright, it's one of the foundations, one of the 5 foundations of Islam. Some ulama put it before Siyam because two different narrations about the Shahada, Ita' al-Zakat, Afwan al-Salat, Iqamat al-Salat, Ita' al-Zakat, or Sawm Ramadan. So there's different narrations, which one's first, which one's not first. So, but it's 3 or 4. Some say 3, some say 4 in order of importance. Yep, what else?
If you deal with riba sak eating from the leg of a dead kangaroo.
Alright, so we spoke about the love of the dunya, basically, the love of money, the love of people wanting to have more and never being happy or content with what they have. And we said that, unfortunately, the prevailing mentality in our society today is that people, they use riba and they justify it. And there's mashaykh out there that say it's fine. That's not our issue. The issue is the state of mind that creates within a human being. So if a human being is going to take a rukhsa, in other words, going to take a dispensation, going to do something that's on the border of, it's actually haram, but they're saying because of our circumstances we can do it. And then after that they become self-deluded. They think that, oh, I've done something awesome. Now I've got a house that's worth $1 million. I'm somebody special. My words should be heard. My opinion should be taken. And unfortunately, that's the prevailing mentality and ideology in the community and the society in which we live in. What, like these super billionaires, how are they super billionaires? They're exploiting people. It's because people in Africa, they can't have water and wells, and people in India earn $1 a day, and people in China they go to the iPhones that we love so much and all that stuff. You've read about that. People basically, they're enslaved. They live across the road from the factory and they're pushed to work as many hours as they can. That's why there's super billionaires. It's not because they're just and well, or they're thieves. Even go back to Apple. Jobs, when he got the first check, he had his partner Wozniak, he rorted him. He only gave him a few $100s, and they got a few $1,000s from Atari. But the first thing is, what? Is the honest bloke all of a sudden because he's made a phone that I like. So that's the reality. The reality of the world that we live in is that people make money, as it's been said in the narrations. In other words, not the prophetic tradition, but what the pious people have said, is through two ways: through thieving and haram, or through stinginess, for being tight. Okay, so that's the minvar. Anything else that anyone remembers that's poignant or that comes to mind from last week that they'd like to mention?
Speak about marriage.
All right, we can leave that for another time too. That was a bit of a bonus from last time. Okay, so we want to think about money. We're all thinking about it anyway, but we want to think about it in the divine manner. We want to think about it in the way that a Muslim should think about it with regards to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed for the believer. And when it comes to zakat, the thing with zakat is that we as Muslims, by agreeing, by making the attestation of faith, the shahadat, that there is no Lord except Allah Azza wa Jal, and the Prophet of Allah is his messenger, then what we're saying is that not only do we agree to that in our hearts, not only do we agree with that in our bodies, which is the prayer, not only do we agree with that in our souls, which is pretty much the siyam, not only do we agree with that about our lives, which is the hajj and what it entails, but we agree about that with regards to our money. Our money is very important. What happens with our money and what we do with it, and even more so, that's why we harped on it last week, even more so because in a society which is based on capitalism and it's based on consumerism, then if you got money, you're someone. If you don't have money, you're no one. Irrespective of how you made it. Don't worry about how you made it. That's not the question. The issue is, do you have it? If you have it, oh, muhtaram, so-and-so, etc. And we told the story about Talut, the Bani Israel, and we said Bani Israel, the stories of Bani Israel, when the Christians and the Jews are in the Qur'an, and also we can laugh at them and go, oh, we're better than them. That's not the reason they're in there. The reason they're in there is because we're going to do the same thing. We're going to follow their ways. So the story is, remember we said the story? Anyone remember it? No? Alright, so I know a couple do, but they don't want, they're a bit shy. Okay? They said, help us, we're being slaughtered by the giants, by the Goliaths. And then Allah Azza wa Jalla sent them Talut. We don't want this guy. So what do you mean? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, well, I made him better than you in body, he's got a physique, and in intelligence, in ilm, knowledge, in military tactics. They said, no, he's got no money. We can't respect someone who hasn't got money. So maybe it isn't a new thing with consumerism, but maybe it's just become more widespread. And they didn't want to accept him. Then he brought Dawood alayhi salam, and then Dawood, he killed Jalut. So David and Goliath, David killed Goliath. Alright, so it's so prominent in our lives. And if we don't respect, depending on which, someone sent me a meme, is what you call it, or a meme, whatever. They said Arab professions for their sons: lawyer, doctor, engineer, disgrace to the family. So that's how it is. That's how it is. That if you got money, you're someone. If you got money, you're respected. If you got money, your opinion counts. If you got money, then, you know, whatever you say, people will listen to you. Influential. You say something like, yeah, for sure. So-and-so said that. So unfortunately, it's a muddle. It's a sickness. Unfortunately, it's a sickness of the heart and of the mind. So we as believers, we agree. We say that our money, where does it come from, our money? Right? It comes from Allah. But people don't think that. Like I'm a solicitor, alhamdulillah, I draft people's wills. I do Islamic wills. It happened more than once. We went to see someone, someone came, they want to draft their will, take their instructions. Yep, you got a wife, oh great. You got a mum and a dad, yep, no worries, and a son and a daughter. Oh, well your mum and your dad get 1/6 of your estate. What? What do you mean my mum and dad get 1/6? Well, that's what the Qur'an says, the Surah An-Nisa says, the chapter about the women. But it's my money. I said, is it your money? Because you can't talk to these guys straight. If you talk to them straight, either he's going to bash you or you're going to bash him. That's how it is with these people. Because why? They're sick. Yeah? There's sickness. Spiritual melee, mental melee when Allah Azza wa Jalla. So, hey, what do you do for a living? He's like, oh, I'm a builder, or a gardener or something. He's a labourer. You're a labourer? Oh, that's good. Well, how do you labour? What do you do with your... He goes, what do you mean? I go, what do you do when you labour? He goes, I pick things up, I move things, I drop them, I mix them. I go, yeah, how do you do that? So what do you mean? Like, it's a stupid question, but what he's saying is stupid to me. You know? Well, how do you do that? He goes, oh, I pick it up. I go, how do you pick it up? He goes, with my hands. Oh, with your hands and that. So where'd your hands come from? From Allah. Right? Yeah, okay. So we established the fact that no matter where you're going, no matter where you're coming, and no matter what you're thinking or what you're unthinking, it's from Allah. So we as believers, whether we recognize it cognitively or not, we agree that whatever we have is from the virtue and the blessing and the barakah and the rizq and the ata and the fadl and the minnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From the favors, the bounties and the blessings, from the sustenance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides to an individual. Okay, we've established that. Yep, we agreed. Anyone disagree? Anyone have an issue? No? Okay, alhamdulillah. So we agree that whatever capacity, whatever ability in terms of finances, it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Well, that being the case, considering it's from Allah, then we have to follow whatever laws Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes about that. Isn't that not the Colorado? Isn't that what we're supposed to be thinking? The next step is that. If it's from Allah, if I live in my dad's house, whose rules do I follow? His rules. If I drive my dad's car, right, yeah? If I wear my brother's or sister's, more correctly, hijab, should I not wear it according to how she wants me to wear it? Shoes, borrow the phone, okay? So we agree that all this belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that being the case, we have to follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's injunctions, in other words, orders with regards to what we do with our money. Yeah? Alright, so that's for the individual. That's for the person. So zakat is a bit complex, alright? There's no point talking about what Imam Haddad talks about without understanding. Is that the right date? It is, eh? Yeah. Beautiful. Alright, so there's no point in talking about what Imam Haddad talks about with regards to zakat. And he's talking about some of the spiritual aspects of it. There's no point talking about the spiritual aspects if we don't understand the fiqhi aspects. What's fiqh? Alright? Who said that? Jurisprudence. Okay? So in other words, the legal ruling. It's like praying, you don't know how to pray. Don't know how you have to go break ruku', don't know what you have to read, don't know how you have to be dressed, don't know what purification, which direction, what time. Where's the prayer going? No. Okay? So zakat, you can write it in English if you like, if not. We have to define it. So there's a word that I reckon fits it better, which is alms. You can also say, in a sense, you can say it's a wealth tax, really. Wealth tax, depending on what jurisdiction you work in, it's an excise, it's a duty, whatever it is. But it's a way for people to give up money to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But zakat, I'm sure you know someone named Zakat. What does zakah mean? Zaki as well?
Smart.
Zaki, yeah, it means actually pure. Someone who's pure, of course, they're going to be intelligent. Okay? So it means pure. Zakat means to purify. In its essence, the word zakah or zaku or zakat, depending on the derivative. In other words, the root word, the derivative word, means pure. And in the word zakat, it means to purify. What's it purifying? The person, what else is it purifying? Right, their wealth. Because sometimes what happens, sometimes someone says to you, oh, you know, maybe if you're on a salary, maybe that doesn't matter to you, but if you're working, whatever, someone says the sheep, you're a farmer, because none of us are, so it's a good example. You're a farmer, the sheep, how old is it? Oh, it's 2 years old. How old is it really? 2 years and 4 months. Forgot. Got overtaken by the emotion in the transaction, said something that wasn't true, said something that wasn't 100% right. Selling the car, has there ever been an accident? Last time reversed and broke the tail light, but it's not really an accident. No. You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes, yeah, things get said, things get done, representations are made that aren't 100%. Okay? So there needs to be a purification. And that's from zakat. Also, it means, what else? Abud, Hajj, zakat, what?
Beauty.
Namat. Alright, al-husn, which is also beauty. Because we give from the best of our money. Alright? Like zaki as well also has the connotation. It's not the actual meaning of the word, the meaning is pure. But there's a connotation of beauty and also ziyada, I don't know how you'd say ziyada, extra, increase. Thank you. Increase. Okay? So what happens? When you give your money, what happens to it? Fi sabilillah, it increases. Okay? The Prophet said that, and it's in the Qur'an as well, that the zakat, money doesn't decrease by giving zakat. It actually increases. Why? Hello? Okay?
You're removing all the,
Okay? Basically it's about blessing.
you're removing all the bad hearts.
Alright, and that's the other part. Because where does it come from? Aslan. Where does it come from anyway? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you're giving it for the sake of Allah, Allah's gonna increase you. But the reasoning behind it, of course, when you help people, when you help others, Allah helps you. Okay? Also that was said that you're giving away your money to purify it. So the rest of your money is clear, and then there's barakah, there's blessing, because Allah puts the blessing. When you do what Allah wants, Allah blesses you. Okay, that's the linguistic meaning. What about the Shari meaning, Hajj? So the Shari meaning is like the legal meaning. There you go. The legal meaning in Islamic law. Need a bit more blood sugar going in the system. All right. So it's with regards to the legal meaning, it's money or wealth, more correctly, wealth that's paid at a prescribed time in a, I think it's proscribed actually, not prescribed. Prescribed manner. Yeah, there's a difference. Okay? So that's what it is, and it's legal, in other words, in the Sharia. Okay? That's the legal meaning of it. It's across the madhahib. It's across. So we're going to concentrate on Shafi'i, and we're going to do Hanafi as well. If you're Shafi'i, just think about Shafi'i, forget about Hanafi. If you're Hanafi, think about Hanafi, forget about Shafi'i. Don't try and confuse it because it's too confusing. If you're something else, let me know and we can put that in as well. Any Malikis, Hanbalis out there? No. Okay, so they're the main ones. So that we follow these, that we follow what these Imams said, because they looked at the Qur'an and the Sunnah and they interpreted it for us in a way that we can understand it. And the scholars, the tens of millions of scholars that came after them, agreed that these guys know what they're on about. Okay? So the first one, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah? Purify, it's beautify. In other words, when you get rid of when you purify it, of course it's going to be beautiful. When you get rid of the ugliness of anything, what's left over is the beauty. And Allah will place increase in whatever you do, whatever you have in terms of money. Any questions about any of that? All right. Now the Shari meaning, so it's actually should probably be prescribed wealth. Prescribed wealth that is paid at a prescribed time in a prescribed manner. Okay, so I know that's like, unless you're a lawyer, you'll be like, what's this guy on about? This just doesn't make any sense. Because this is legalese or legal talk. Because we're looking at the legal example, the legal meaning of it. So, prescribed wealth.
What's that? No, you cannot.
Huh?
It's not ink.
This one. Alright, bro, I'm prepared for this. Alright, so this one, the prescribed wealth means an amount. It's a bit complex, zakat, okay? It's a bit complex, it's really, really easy, but to get to it to be easy, it's kind of a long road. So that's why I want you to bear with me and focus and concentrate. So what's the prescribed wealth? It refers to an amount. So $1, $100, $1,000, $10,000. We stop there, can we keep going? $100,000. Does that make sense? Please tell me if it doesn't so we can repeat it. There's no point coming if you don't understand it, and it's not easy. So don't pretend like you know what's going on if you don't. Yes? Can we go forward? Understand? Yep. Okay. A prescribed wealth refers to an amount. So a certain amount of money. So that's what prescribed wealth means. That's paid at a prescribed time. So this is one. I don't know if I say Hijri. Is that a one? I don't know how I do this. One Hijri calendar year. Okay? So this is the prescribed time. How many months in the Hijri calendar year? 12. Okay? Is it sinking in? Yeah? Yeah? Got it? We're getting there. Alright? In a prescribed manner, and this basically relates to the people entitled to zakat.
To receive zakat.
Yeah, whatever, entitled to receive it. Okay? Okay? So that's the people. So there's three aspects to zakat, basically is what we're saying. It's hard because it's like esoteric. It's in your head, it's philosophical, it's there, it's not there, you haven't slept enough, you're still kind of, the brain's not working from fasting or whatever else, but it's not that hard really, but it is to kind of get there. Alright, so there's three parts to zakat. What? The amount, the time, and who. Okay? So, don't need all this now. So it's the amount. Amount, the time, and who. That's a bit easier, isn't it? Not, is it not, or is it more harder? No.
Let's say you bought something for 30 grand, and then how much zakat do you give for that? There's literally like.
Alright, so amount is zakat. That's what we're going to work out. The time is when it's payable, like when it's due, and then who we give it to. So you're a couple of steps ahead. Alright, we'll get there. Alright, let's look at the amount first. Can I get rid of all this? Okay, so number one is the amount. That's all we're going to do today. So just keep as much brain charge as you have in your heart and your mind, and then that's it. We'll call it an evening. So the amount. Okay, the amount, it's two parts really. So we got A, it's gold. What is it? 84.7 grams, which is roughly 3,900 Australian dollars. AUS. Alright? It used to be in the old, but we'll do the silver as well. $592. It's 0.7 again. 0.7 grams. It's got 350 Australian dollars. That's today. Could be something else next week. It could be, is it too hard to see? AUD, that's how you say Australian dollar. AUD, dollars, 350. Yes?
Can you repeat the grams for the silver?
792.7 grams.
500.
592.7, thanks. 592.7 grams. I think the fasting's getting to me as well. Okay? So just bear with me. Can you just accept the fact that that's the amount?
Yeah.
Can we accept that? Do we need, I know everyone wants explanation of why and how and blah, 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 but we're on a path to get the answer. Alright, we don't want to jump ahead, because if you jump ahead, you just won't get it. Alright? 2 is the time. Okay, so this is the passing of one Islamic year, which is 11 months and 29 days. So we can just say 12 months.
So you gotta hold it tight.
Hold on, bro. Just hold on. And after we do it, you're gonna need to ask questions. Okay, after we bind the two together, you're gonna need to ask questions. Your questions at that time will be from a point of understanding, not from a point of going around in circles and shouting. Alright? So, what's today? 10th of Muharram, as an example.
Beautiful.
So 10 Muharram, whatever, 2014. My next zakat will be due. So this is the start date. And the due date will be when? No, 10 will be 1 year and 1 day. Exactly. So it'll be 9 Muharram, which is today or whatever. Considering we're fasting tomorrow, we're saying that's today. Okay? So that's 1 year. Let's put this in its own little section by itself. Alright, so this is how it works. If you have in your possession the value of gold or the value of silver of more than 3,900 Australian dollars or 350 Australian dollars, and you keep that in your possession for 1 year, 1 Islamic year, right? Then you pay zakat. Let me hold that thought. Alright? So in other words, if I have 3,900 on the 10th of Muharram, and then the 1st of Ramadan, I have 2,000, and then the 9th of Muharram, I have 10,000, how much zakat do I pay?
10,000.
I got you on that one.
10,000.
What do you think?
You pay on 10,000.
You don't have to pay.
Okay? Alright, I wanted to give you the example. Why doesn't that person have to pay? Explain it to us.
Because if you drop, so like, can I use the word for the threshold, right?
Threshold, that's a good word.
If you drop below that threshold throughout the year, then because you have to have the same amount, like you have to be above the threshold for the entire year.
Okay? So that's the hard part. Alright, now it's like, okay, because isn't that, let's just go back to the example. We started off with 3,900. Bear with me, stop writing. Pens down, just focus, okay? We started off 3,900, 10 Muharram last year, okay? The minimum amount, the minimum amount. The minimum amount that I have to have is 3,900. How long do I have to have it for? A whole year. So I need the word whole there somewhere.
A lot less.
Of one whole. I put it in red so we know. Okay, so we started off 3,900 of the 10th of Muharram. And we were loving it. Our bank account, 3,900. Let's see, I'm going to buy some Porsche or something. House in Vaucluse, whatever it was. Okay? A phone, yeah, sorry, I should be more realistic. I was going to buy a phone with it. And then, first of Ramadan, I came down to $2,000. Am I above or below the threshold? Below. So if I'm below the threshold, do I have to pay zakat?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you look at 350 there.
Are you sure?
You wouldn't be above.
Okay, let's just get rid of. Let's just block this one out for now. Okay. Let's just stick to this one for the moment. Yes.
This might be a silly question.
There's no such thing as a silly question.
Is it only like
Only a
if
silly
you've got
person.
that much worth of gold or that much money that we're
Okay, so the equivalent. That's why we said gold or the equivalent. Okay. So if you got gold, it's a different scenario.
that makes
But we're like, because the Prophet didn't have dollars in his day, did he? Okay, so he had gold and silver and aqwat, different things that we don't have to worry about at the moment. Yeah.
What about if you have a bit of gold and a bit of money and they both make up that amount?
Okay, as long as you come to that amount, whether it's gold or money or silver combined or whatever it is. Okay? Now,
The value of money increases. You know, so if you've got a set amount of gold, do you have to weigh it and estimate the value?
exactly right. So when you look, if you who follows the Shafi'i madhab from the sisters? Oh, the 50-50 Shanafis. You've got half Shanafi, half Hanafi, half Shafi'i. But look, you have to follow something because you can't just go and do your own thing. If not, then just ring up a sheikh or ask a sheikh. Whatever the sheikh tells you to do, you do that. There's Hanafi. Who knows they're Hanafi? Yeah. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have to pay out every single bit of gold you have. Shafi'is, unless you got, once you come up to a kilo, if you're a female and it's jewelry. Once it's up to a kilo, then you pay on over and above that. Anything under a kilo of gold that you wear, the intention isn't to save it for investment purposes, it's to wear it, then it's free. But Hanafi, the 6 of you Hanafi students that follow Imam Abu Hanifa, then you have to pay gold on whatever you have, no matter if it's 1 gram. Because that's what Abu Hanifa says. But Imam Shafi'i says no. Why should a woman have to pay on saying that she's supposed to wear for her husband anyway? You know, so two different opinions. That's why we focus on those two madahib. Okay? So back at the ranch, we get this one or not? Yep. Okay. Now, this is another little trick that if you get it, you'll get it. If you don't, you won't. Alright? Let's say at the beginning of the year, 10 Muharram, I have $3,900. Okay? Then 1st of Ramadan, I have $20 million. And then the 9th of Muharram, I have $3,900. How much? What do I pay zakat on?
3,900.
Why?
Because that's what you have
You
now.
never had 20 million.
MashaAllah, you guys are good. That's impressive. MashaAllah, that's excellent. That's excellent. Because if I had to pay zakat on 10 million, but I only had 3,900 on this day, where am I going to get the money to pay zakat? Yeah? You don't look sure.
No.
Yep. Yes? Yep. Alright? So now the rest of it's easy. This part is the hard part. The rest of it, at the back, yeah, you've got it. No worries? Oh, I won't even ask.
But how much zakat do you pay for it? How much do you pay for?
Okay, that's the next question.
So
How much?
So obviously as well, if you come to like the Muharram and you have above that amount, so you have 10 grand at that time, then you pay zakat on the 10 grand.
Right, so it's whatever amount you have on that so Maghrib of Muharram, which is now, Maghrib came, alright, you start counting your cash. Or you probably just look on your app and whatever the case might be. And then it's however much money it is. So if you started off with 309, let's say, that's another example. You started off with 3,900. 8 Muharram, all year you had 3,900. You were scrounging. Should I get the iPhone 6S or whatever it is, CS, whatever? Should I get it? It's $1,500. I've only got 3,900. That, this. And then the 8th of Muharram, guess what? You get $100 million. And the 9th of Muharram, you have $100 million. How much do you pay zakat on?
3,900.
No way!
100 million.
Come on, you went against yourself.
100 million.
Yeah, on the day. On the day, when zakat, you count your zakat,
So all year if you've got
all
less
year you
than
had 3,900. This, say the morning of today, this morning.
what if you had all year less than that amount? Then
Hold on, let me ask the question. Hold
I said, so what if you have all year less than that amount? That's when you don't pay the 20 million. If you have 3,900, then you pay the 20 million.
Who can answer the question? Not you. So the question is,
So all year, if you've got less than 3,900, you don't pay the 20 million. But if you've got more than 3,900, you pay the 20 million.
okay, well, you're mixing two questions up. So the thing is that if I have 3,900, let's say the 360 days, there's a bit less, 360 days in an Islamic year. So for 359 days, on this day I get $10 million. Let's say a million, because 10 million is making us confused right now. Alright? I get $1 million on that day. From whatever reason, sold the house, whatever, okay? I have $1 million on that day. How much do I pay zakat on?
Million.
3,900.
Why 3,900?
That's what you had for the whole year,
Ex-
not one full.
Well, we had one day we had $1 million. The day of that we calculated zakat, we had $1 million.
Right, you have
But you
to
didn't
have
have
the
$1 million
whole year.
Isn't it what you just said that it's the whole
But you
year?
Okay, hold on, go back. Now that means you didn't understand the previous example. I'm not like talking about. I'm just saying that the previous example was I had 3,900 all up to Ramadan. Ramadan I had 10 million, and then back in this day, the calculation date, I had 3,900. How much do I pay zakat on?
3,900.
Why?
Because that's how much you've
You
got.
can't pay 10
All right, that's the calculation date. So we put calculation date here.
Okay.
Calculation date. So this is the day. All right, this is the day here that counts, and this is the day here that counts. What happens in between only counts if what? MashaAllah. All right, this only counts anything here in between. Right, this in between only counts if I go underneath that amount. If it doesn't, then what? The amount that I have on the 9th of Muharram, as long as above that amount, whether it's 3,900 or 300,000 million, whatever it is, I pay that amount. Yep. So is that easier? Let's go back to the question first. I had 3,900 all year except this day. I got 10 million. How much do I pay?
10 million.
All right. I pay on the 10 million. Okay. Yep. Good.
Yes.
All right. How much do I pay?
On
2.5.
2.5% of that wealth on that calculation date. And the calculator. So don't use January 1 to January 1, because it's not an Islamic one whole Islamic year.
So even if you had that money for a week, but on calculation day you've got it, you pay on it.
1 minute. You had it for 1 minute before
You
Maghrib.
have to have it for one full year. On
No,
that
you have to have anything above the amount. Good question.
Yeah,
Okay? So once it goes above the amount, tick. Now everything I have is zakatable. Tick 390. You just got to make up words so you get it. Zakatable. One second. Everything is zakatable. So as long as I'm above 3,900, 3,900 on the threshold, as long as I don't go below it, still in the time period.
You have to remember
Okay.
prescribed
Yep. And the prescribed time is?
12 months.
Right. One Islamic
What if you're unsure about your
Hold on.
What if on the just a minute before as you go to Woolies buy chocolate bar for $1, you have 3,898.
Tell me, what happens?
What do you do?
You pay $3,898
What happens?
You don't pay
You fall
zakat.
below
You don't pay zakat.
You don't pay zakat? What is it?
because you fall.
So you pay, you do or you don't?
And you don't.
Don't?
I don't know the question what was it.
Question is, if you have 1 minute before Maghrib,
Yeah.
you go and buy something, and you go to 3,899.
Well, if your intention was to do it not to pay zakat, then that's when you felt like other than
True.
that. You would've-
Okay, but it wasn't. You just hacked. You were hungry or whatever, and need to have something to
You
eat.
don't pay the zakat. You fall below the threshold.
Can you just calculate it on silver?
That's a different question. Well, I'll answer this one if you don't mind. Then we'll get to that. Okay? So, what happens? Do you pay zakat or not? 1 minute before Maghrib. Are you sure?
Yes.
What do you think? Yes.
No.
No, it's not a very confident no.
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 What have you?
I reckon this little man knows. Yes or no?
What was the question?
You're making me look bad. If you go through, if it 1 minute before Maghrib on the calculation date, if you're under pressure, don't worry about it. But you look like you know what you're on about. 3,899. Do you pay zakat? Look, he's confident. No. MashaAllah.
But
Okay?
what if the value of gold gets higher?
Okay. What happens really is on this day, on the day you choose to pay zakat, look, a lot of people choose Ramadan, but one of the scholars said to me recently, what if everyone chooses Ramadan? Then people not getting zakat in the rest of the year. So make your intention, Ya Allah, give me the reward of Ramadan. I'm not going to do it in Ramadan because the rest of the year people aren't getting zakat. You with me? So you get double reward because you're doing something that no one else is doing. So pick the date, okay? Then what you really need to do is look at what the value of a gram is on that first date, and look at the value of a gram on the second day. Look, it is complex. It's only complex because the system's ribawi based. It's based on interest. But otherwise, in the old days, what would you have done? You would have got out your dinars and counted them. You would have counted your dinars. They're gold pieces. This money stuff only started in the last century. It really wasn't around before then. Okay, so that's the difficulty. Okay, this is the other thing. This is for the Shafi'is in particular. It doesn't count for the Hanafis. The Shafi'is say, look, you go to the lesser amount. Why do they say that? Because zakat isn't just a wajib, and it's not just a fard, it's a rukn of the deen. Right? It's one of the fundamental elements of the deen. So the Shafi'is say that, pay zakat. This is you completing your Islam. That's their mentality, that's their ideology, that's their philosophy, that's their methodology when it comes to zakat. So really the Shafi'is say that. See, in the old days, what happened was 592 grams of gold was worth, guess what? Exactly the same as 84.7 grams. Because this started off with 20 muthqal or 20 muthqal, which is a weight that they had back then. So 20 of the pieces of gold was worth 200 pieces of silver. But now, interest, blah blah, capital markets, blah 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 blah. So really, that's what makes it hard for us. But back in the day when this was around, they were equal. That's why these numbers were chosen.
And silver's at the same 2.5%?
Yeah, everything, whatever money you have is 2.5%. No,
I have two questions.
no.
The first one is, if within that year I loan money to a friend, do I still pay the zakat on the whole amount or just the amount that I have remaining with me?
Okay.
And the second question is, do you also calculate the investments that you've made?
Okay,
All
so
of your
look,
assets?
there's two different things. Let's think about the first one's a really good question about loans. Because let's say, for example, I'm a hoarder. Anyone know any hoarders? I'm sure some of your mums are hoarders. Okay? I'm a hoarder. All I do is hoard stuff. And guess what's one of the things that I hoard? Is money. I'm just putting it away. What for? A rainy day. This is what the Lebas say. What is it? خبي إرشك something يوم اليوم. How is it go? Hey, keep your white penny aside for the black day that's coming ahead. Muslims don't think like that. Unfortunately, misfortunately for the Lebas, Muslims are not allowed to. It's haram to save money for the sake of saving money. If you're saving to iPhone, as what we said, saving for an iPhone, save away. Car, holiday, Hajj, clothes, you've got bills to pay, save away. But if you're saving just for the sake of saving for the day that you're going to need it, unfortunately it's not acceptable. Unfortunately it's not acceptable because why? Where's it from? Okay, and here's a zakat because he gave it to you. What? He can't give it to you later on. So really, what you should be doing is, if you've got money, is either investing it, okay, or giving it fi sabilillah. Really, they're the two things you should be doing. Now, the third category is loaning the money. So if you loan someone money, you have to pay zakat on it because really it's your money. Okay, and investments is your return on investment. So you're gonna beginning of Muharram, you're gonna give you got 10 grand, you give 5 away, you're still above the threshold. Okay, that 5 grand, this and then I'll come to you. That 5 grand you gave away, when the investment comes, if it comes within that year, you'll pay it. If it comes within the next year and you're over the threshold, you'll pay it. It's a bit harder, that one.
So you only pay it when you get it back. So
Exactly.
when it comes
Not the loan. The loan, if I give you a 10-year loan of $100,000, every year I'll be paying zakat.
On 100,000.
Every year I'll be paying zakat on $100,000. It's kind of a penalty. Because when you're loaning someone money, what are you saying to them? Take the money, but it's my money. You with me? And it's not the best. Because the best is either give it fi sabilillah, but what does the guy want 100 grand for? He wants to open a shop? No worries, brother. We'll go halves. So that way there's loss and there's profit and there's benefit to everyone. There's benefit. Loaning money is not the best way. If it's kind of hustling, you help people, no worries, but it's not the best way to do it. Especially when it's large amounts. You have questions? No?
Yeah.
No. Sorry.
So you know Jamaiya. You know how we do Jamaiya, the version of the Jamaiya.
Yeah.
So let's just say you're constantly paying the Jamaiya. So every year you're paying a certain amount monthly, and then you don't have that amount. And every month or whatever, someone has a turn, someone gets it, and then at the end of the third year, you get that full amount. So
it goes for 3 years.
Yeah. So it goes for 3 years, and let's just say you're paying half a name, which is 500, or you're paying a full name, which is 1,000. So 500 is 20 grand, 1,000 is 40 grand. So then at the end of the third year, so you don't have that amount, you're giving it to other people, and then at the end of the third year, that's when you get the amount back. So that's when you have, the amount.
Let's explain the principle to you that's going to help with all these things. Let's say at 10 Muharram, right, I've got $1 million, okay? And I'm buying, selling, trading, using, blah, 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 eating, drinking, whatever. At the end, and at the 9th of Muharram, I got nothing. Do I pay zakat? All right? So it's on, mashallah, all right? So it's not about amount. See, because we live in a commercial, consumer society, it's always about amounts. He's half asleep when he said no. amounts, mashallah. All right? It's not about amounts. It's about this amount. And it's about 1 year. Full stop. So if you're spending, I had $100 million budget, and I'm buying, selling, trading, I bought 10 houses that year with $100 million, 20 factories, I bought an airplane, I bought a Lamborghini or whatever, a Bentley or something, okay, and at the end of it, I'm going to have to show for it cash in hand. This is about liquid assets, or cash in hand specifically, okay? So this is about cash. You Lebanese, you love that word, cash, all right? Everyone loves cold, hard cash. What's called liquid assets. What does liquid mean? It means it can come and go quickly. All right? So houses, I had $100 million. I had $100 million cash. Hold on. Listen to this one. This will give you the principle. You'll work everything out. That's what I'm trying to give. So you had $100 million. I had $100 million. I bought houses. At the end of it, I got zero cash. How much does that cash cost? I got $100 million worth of houses.
Zero.
What do you think? On what?
So you need to pay zakat.
On?
So you need to pay zakat on the houses that you own?
That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah, you do.
Who says yes? Put your hand up if you say yes. $100 million, mind you. It's $100 million, hands straight up. None of this half up. Straight up. All right? Who says no? Straight up. Oh, who says don't know? Don't know, 2 hands. All right. With that, okay, look, this is the learning process. So what's it about? Cash. All right? If I spend $100 million on properties, okay, where am I going to get money to pay
You read them
Quickly
out.
tell me what the amount is. $100 million.
It's
12.5%. 250.
2.5.
Triple five
$2.5
million.
million.
Yeah.
الله يرضى عليك انت. 2.5 million. It's bringing every week, huh? 2.5 million. Where am I going to get $2.5 million from if I've got $100 million worth of houses?
You sell the houses.
Yeah, why should I have to sell a house for? Allah doesn't want me to do that. Okay? It's only on liquid assets. It's only on cash in hand. Gold is a liquid asset because it was back in the day, it was a currency. Okay? So I buy $100 million worth of Lamborghinis, whatever shares, no. Okay, and I rent each house out. And that was the next question, I know you're going to say that. So I rent each house out, and I make $1 million out of rent. I don't know if that's the case, but I make $1 million, but I spend it all. I'm spending, I'm buying, fi sabilillah, there's poor people, there's, adhiya. How much do I pay? I've got none left.
Nothing.
Zero. Okay? So it's only on liquid assets. Liquid meaning cash, gold, silver.
So cash that you can get to, that you can take out
Yeah,
and spend.
that's right. Not things you've bought.
Yeah.
Okay, you buy things, they're not liquid anymore. They're an asset.
What if you buy something like insurance zakat, like that? What if you buy something that you just like insurance with Allah? You know?
Do what?
You buy something like for 30 grand and then you pay zakat on that.
Well, you don't have to. If you buy something, you don't have to pay anything on it. But if you want to, like one of the things some of the Mashiach say, you had it for a long time, when you sell it, you pay 2.5% like that way. But you don't have to. But that's what the Shafi'is say. It's about holding the lowest minimum threshold, the lowest amount, the threshold for one Islamic year, full stop. No.
So if you buy a car and you want to pay zakat on it so you can remove hassle and
Well, it wouldn't be zakat, I mean, because it's not liquid, just give sadaqah. Give sadaqah. Alright? You must have a nice car, mashallah. Alright? Any other questions? No.
Can I just ask you a question in regards to what you said about you shouldn't keep your money if
Sure.
you don't have something to
Sure.
spend it on? Does that fall into the whole superannuation, like having your money in a...
Good question. Like super doesn't fall into that because it's statutory to government. You have to do it legally speaking. So what the ulama have said is that this is new ulama rather than Shafi, Hanafi, whatever. They said that anything the government does, like HECS, like all these things, it's beneficial for the people. They're not doing it to rip your money. They're not doing it to take advantage of you like banks and these things, insurance companies, blah, 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 blah. They're doing it to benefit the people. It's okay, it's jetty. So what you should do is super, when you get your money, after all expenses, 2.5% at that time. Okay, especially super because it's a bit of a weird one. Not like a house, it's actually cash. And it's actually accessible, but not really because there are limitations. Unless you've got extreme hardship, economic hardship, or you're traveling, or you're really ill or whatever, you're not allowed to touch it. So that's what everyone should be doing with this super. And make sure if you've got super, contact your super provider and tell them to put, it says who you're going to pay it to according to my will. Don't give it to your mum or your dad or your next of kin, because then if you do an Islamic will, inshallah, it'll go according to what the Sharia is. You can't just give it to someone. You got to do it according to, you can't say according to Sharia in your superannuation.
So did you say find out how much superannuation you have every year?
No, not every year. At the end of the year, whenever it is, whenever you get your money, you may never get it.
Or just when you get it?
You may never get it. You may die and that's it. Okay, go to someone else. So whenever you get it, at that time ever comes, or you do a self-managed super or whatever, and that time comes when you're allowed to take it, and you take 2.5% and you give it to the who. And that's what we'll talk about.
So basically, the superannuation, you don't count it towards your account.
No.
Every year.
No, because you can't really get it. That's the thing.
It's not liquid, it's an asset.
Right. No?
The whole time, you say it was a minute before or after Maghrib?
Sorry?
You have to check for the amount of the
On Maghrib. Once Maghrib comes, that's the time you count your money. Yeah. On when the sun sets below the horizon, that's when you count your money. No.
Actually done it wrong all along.
Yeah, it's
I
like it's simple,
calculated
but
the
it's
amount or not timing, say Ramadan, from one Ramadan to another. But I haven't specified a time or a day. And let's say it's an amount of 10,000, I've had 5,000 from the first Ramadan to the second. And then just 1 month before the second Ramadan, I get another 5,000. So I haven't paid on the next 5,000 that came through because there haven't been a whole year.
Yeah.
So
Look, if you know if you've made mistakes and you can work it out, then take out that amount and give it as zakat. If you can. If you can't, then just pick a random number. Say Allah for today's good because
So, for instance, if we give zakat out every Ramadan and then this year we decide, oh, we're going to do it outside of Ramadan, should you do it before Ramadan comes or after?
Yeah, when you pick the date. So let's say, example, you pick the date that it's going to be 10 Muharram. See how much money you've got now. Give that zakat and then start again. If you don't have it, then just pick this date. So let's say, for example, you've got less than 3,900, then your date will automatically start when you come above 3,900. Are you with me? So if you're below 3,900, you can't pick a date. But if you're above 3,900 and you have been since Ramadan, then give zakat now. Because your intention is a good intention. Okay, so there's a lot of jurisprudence, ulama talk about a lot of different things, but you can do this. If your intention is to do good and not trying to circumvent the rules like cheat or do a tricky or whatever it is, do a lever backdoor style, then if your intention is to give zakat in the best way, then pick whatever date you want if you're above 3,900, right? And then give that zakat now, even if it's 6 months or whatever it might be, and then start again.
what if you're late on your date? You passed your date and you haven't given it yet.
Then the person is athim, is sinful. Whoever had, like say the 9th of Muharram came, and it's the evening of the 10th, then that person is sinful.
What if they give the date the next day? Still sinful?
Well, what you ought to do is just separate that amount. You've got to say, on this date, I know that I have to pay whatever, $1,000. All right, I know I've got to pay 1,000. If you pull it out, it's better. If not, at least you know it's $1,000. So if you got cash, then there's the mattress, count out 1,000, 100 green ones, and put them on the side. Okay, put a bit of attar on them, make them smell nice. Because when they're under the mattress, they start to smell after a while. You know, they go off. That's what the lady at the bank told me anyway. Anyway, and then put a bit of attar on them, and then put it in an envelope and write zakat on it. Okay, and then what you should do is tell someone in your family, because you might die that night. This $1,000 is for zakat, and it can only be payable to these people. We'll talk about, inshallah, next week. Or any other questions? Ask. Don't be shy. Don't know.
So if we use the $3,900 threshold, that's the Hanafi method, right?
That's what the Hanafis
So
say.
if I don't have 3,900, I have 360. I'd go with silver.
I think we should, because it's a rukn. You know, that's what the Shafi'is say. The Shafi'is say that if you haven't got the amount for gold, then you should use the amount for silver. If it's less, because it's a rukn of the deen. It's not just, it's a big part. It's one of the 5 pillars. So it's important that if it completes your deen. You fasted, you said the shahada, you fasted, you prayed, you went to Hajj, inshallah, if that's going to be the case, and you give the zakat. It's one of the big things of the deen. Anyway, he's gone, we can't ask him. 2.5% of 350, it's like what, $10 or something, I don't know, but it's not much. $15 or something, it's pretty 2% to $6, no, $6.25. How much?
It's like $7.
Yeah, it's $8.20. Something like that. And now you spend more than that on coffee every morning. So $8.20 to complete a rukn of the deen. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Yeah. If it's $1,000, it's only $25. $10,000, $250. It's not much. Anyway, once it's above that, so it goes. It's not much money really. It's not much money. And then next week we'll do the other different, because some of us are involved in trade. There's sheep and cattle and goats and that, but we won't talk about that because just to know that it's there. There's crops, we'll mention it, just to know that these things are what zakat is payable on. Then we'll do trade, if you have your own business, and then we'll talk about, probably the week after that, the who's. Okay, who you pay that money to. Alright, is it clear? Make sure you go over it before next week's class. Because it disappears straight away. You think, yeah, I was there on Friday, I know it, but it disappears, it goes straight away, especially when you don't use it. So next week, inshallah, revise, and then we'll come back and see. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه